Now here at 5:30, we move to the first floor chambers to conduct the council meeting in person. And because we encourage community involvement, we invite the public to join us in person or participate via a remote option through Zoom or view on VCAT. For anyone who's attending in person and plans to comment tonight, please print your name clearly on the sign-in sheet so that your name will be included for the public, for the meeting record. For more information, please refer to the public comment interim procedure handout also on the back table. So presently we have two council members missing. I believe Councilmember Mockler will be here momentarily. Having said that, I'll go to our city clerk, Ms. Hoover, for the consent agenda.
Thank you, President Younger. For approval on the consent agenda are the following items. A, claims and check register. Approval of the following checks and electronic fund transfers. 1, check numbers 413031 through 413115 and EFT numbers V44911 through V44987 in the grand total amount of $2,620,496.30. 2, regular payroll for pay period ending October 31st, 2025, in the amount of $1,245,579.13. 3, regular payroll payout for pay period ending October 31st, 2025, in the amount of $2,457.48. B, minutes of council meeting November 5th, 2025. C, minutes of study session November 12th, 2025. D, minutes of budget workshop November 13th, 2025. E, confirm appointment of Betsy Hagestead to the Bremerton Arts Commission. F, agreement to purchase a restroom from Green Flesh Technologies LLC for the Gold Mountain Golf Course. And G, ordinance number 5528 to amend BMC Chapter 2.90 entitled Indemnity of Personnel. This concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you. If any member of the public wishes to speak on any of the consent agenda items, we only ask that you state your name for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Alden Bradford, and I'd like to comment on item F regarding the bathroom for Gold Mountain Golf Course. You know, we love bathrooms around here. Very important, especially we consider the water resource over there. We want to protect that in any way that we can. And it looks like an excellent restroom. $163,000. That better be a pretty good restroom. I will say it is a little bit, I don't know, disheartening, discombobulating to see we can spend that much on a bathroom for golfers, but we can't manage $10,000 for porta potties downtown. I understand there are policies, there's rules about where which money can go, and that the money that the golf course raised is only supposed to be used for certain things, but somehow it just doesn't quite feel right to me. I don't know. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else? Mr. Sorensen, you know the drill. Could you please check online?
There's nobody online.
Thank you, sir. Seeing none, we'll go to the council for motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
So the second went with Councilmember Chamberlain. Sorry. No worries. I call for the question.
Councilmember Chamberlain,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Coughlin,
Yes.
Robolowski,
Yes.
Mockler,
Yes.
Younger.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, there's no general business items tonight. We do have a public hearing.
Public hearing item 5A, public hearing on revenue sources for the 2025 through 2026 preliminary mid-biennium update. Our presenter tonight is Finance Director Mike Riley.
Okay, Mr. Riley, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, council. Thank you, Mayor. So tonight we have a couple things we're going to go over. One presentation Well, high level revenues, talking about the property tax ordinance or sales tax estimates, and then also the mid biennium true up. So last year, the council passed a 2-year biennium budget for 25-26. This presentation is again just kind of reset, true up where we estimated to be at the end of 25 and the end of 26, and where we believe now we'll actually end up. So we're going through a few slides, and then we'll step aside. So, all right. So just going into the presentation. Summary of we have kind of highlights for the what the changes kind of attributed to that you'll see. Our revenues and fund balance. Revenues exceeded our projections from our 25-26 adopted budget, and also our fund balance projections that materialized in a more positive position. And we'll get into that. Some of the things affecting kind of what our outlook is and going in the future years that kind of drives for really we have no new programs, really just maintaining the budget that was adopted because some of these unknown costs, our jail contract costs continue to increase. You can see over here, we have an increase of about $500,000 over the current year budget expenditures, and still some unknowns there. Our insurance costs, you see we had a 224% increase from 22 to 25. Those continue to climb. And then lastly, just labor contract increases. We settled all of our contracts this past biennium, and this materializes those adjustments. All right, so just revenue by comparison, we have our four major revenue categories. That's our property tax, which remains pretty static year over year. You'll see there was some growth in some new construction tax in the last few years. But again, we're capped at the 1% increase. We'll get into the slide kind of what that attributes to our the average homeowner in Bremerton. Also sales tax. We've seen a continued increase in our sales tax revenue. You see in the dark shaded blue there, 2025 is projecting materializing pretty well. And then again, we're a little conservative, not knowing what the outlook goes into 26. Again, being conservative with our estimates. You see just kind of a slight drop there, just over $14 million of what we budgeted. We're budgeting for sales tax revenue. Utility tax remains pretty static. This is all of our utilities, our water utility, wastewater utility, storm, also electric utility, parking, the parking tax, kind of all group up into this category. And then bring in our business occupation tax. One thing to highlight that the moratorium on the freeze of $1,040,000 for our businesses. Anything below that gross revenue, they do not pay. They do not pay a B&O tax in the city of Bremerton. They are required to have a license in Bremerton. That's that last category there. It's about $400,000, remaining pretty static across all years. Slight increases. Summary of changes. This is kind of the big slide. I think there was a lot of discussion. I want to thank council and thank the administration. We spent Thursday afternoon, early evening discussing what the changes were, and I think the council and council president want to thank you. Kind of help at the end of the meeting really kind of shine a light on what we're trying to discuss within our presentation and where we budgeted to where we materialized. And I tried to capture those comments in this slide. So in 25 general fund balance, we had a budgeted ending fund balance of just over $8 million. I use those percent of fund balance at 12.91%. For the general public, what I wanted to kind of articulate what that means. That represents about 47 days of operating money. If all the money in the city stopped coming in, we could operate with our monthly expenditures. We balance out about 47 days of operation. Our current policy for the city is to operate at 30 days, to have a reserve about 30 days. Best practice is around 60. The projected fund balance, as we true up where we think believe we're going to land at the end of 25, has a just shy of $14 million fund balance. It's about a 22% ending fund balance, about 81 days of operation. The 26 budget that was adopted during the biennium had a projected ending fund balance at $5.972 million, which is just about 10.1% fund balance, about 37 days of operation. with the mid-biennium, the adjusted fund balance really attributed that much higher beginning fund balance of going into to 25. We went from a 5.9 to we project a $8.2 million ending fund balance for the end of 26, and that equates to a 13.2% fund balance, and that's about 48 days of operations. Just continuing, the overall 26 adopted citywide budget that was adopted was at $235,826,441. The 26 proposed mid-biennium proposed budget is $253,974,546. I just want to note that is inclusive of our ending fund balance is part of those totals. With this budget, in a previous meetings, the council adopted our rate increases. So again, for the public to note, our water utility has a 3% increase. Those revenues are inclusive in this budget. The wastewater utility had a 3% increase, and our stormwater utility had a 3% increase to rates. The average dollar increase per single family residence is about $4 per month over all three utilities combined. That assumes 600 cubic feet of usage or discharge. The property tax, we spoke to this earlier. Let me slide this up so I can see. Total property tax levy for the general levy is being levied is $9.4 million. The total EMS levy is $3.2 million. Again, we talked about we're capped at the 1% increase. And so we were asked by council, thank you, Councilmember Chamberlain reached out and said, what does that mean for the homeowner? And so I couldn't answer that night, but I was able to submit that information. And the average annual household impact is $6.79 per year. And that assumes the average assessed home value in Bremerton at $379,000 home is what that equates to. All right. We spent a lot of time on this slide here and continue to talk about this, and the gap between revenues and expenditures continues to grow. And this is where we just are really kind of highlighting and focusing why you see no additional FTEs, a reduction in expenditures, to really trying to focus on this gap that it continues to grow year over year. So in 26 adopted budget, revenues under expenditures were $5.1 million. In the proposed 26 biennium resets 5.7. So it continues to grow, the separation there. One thing we discussed is we do budget 100% staffing. There's attrition rates. So that number, as you saw in a couple slides before, we budget a fund balance. We materialize typically at a much higher amount. We have more fund balance than we budget because we budget very conservatively. But as this grows, that becomes more and more of a concern. So heard that from council. We share that with the administration, the same sentiments. And so work to do. But right now we're positioning ourselves with reserves in place that allow us to analyze the situation and really come with a full approach going into the 27-28 budget. Just some additional slides. The general fund, we spent a lot of time on the general fund. It's our public safety budget. It's community development. It's all those things, fire and police and parks. And I don't want to miss anybody, but all the departments that make that up. And let me move again my slide here. Gotta move the picture out of the way. Just want to show kind of the piece of the pie of what the general fund, kind of those expenditures make up. The big blue chunk of the total expenditures is personnel. It's 64% of the general fund budget is about $45 million. You see supplies and services about 15.7. A lot of those are contractual services. Those are things like our jail costs. Those are insurance costs. So it's all embedded in there. And then overall, you see overall budget. Again, we adopt ending fund balance inclusive of our expenditures of just shy of $71 million. Won't spend a whole lot of time here. Our special revenue funds, you can see again, slight increases to the ending fund balance. Special revenue funds are made up of our parking fund, our street fund, BCAT, and a multitude of others. But again, healthy fund balances. There's planned spend downs in some of these funds as well. So Capital fund, our transportation capital, this has a lot, this is our kind of our grant fund for our capital projects. A lot of money comes in and out of this fund. Fund balance kind of fluctuates significantly depending on projects. So there's a planned spend down here. Again, just kind of resetting those numbers, what the actuals were. Last couple slides here. Our water utility fund combined of our operating fund, our capital fund. Again, very healthy fund balance. The rates that we talked about earlier with a 3% increase there helps support our 6-year forecast going out for our capital improvements and also the operations of the fund. Same thing here with our wastewater fund, a very healthy fund. And then rounding out our utility funds is the stormwater fund and continue to be healthier and healthier. We've been able to maintain those kind of flat rates at 3.5% the last couple of years in that fund. There's been a lot of changes with regulation from ecology regarding stormwater and the requirement for that department and some of the inspections they need to do. So we saw some increases in staff a couple years ago because of the inspections and saw an increase in rates, but we were able to see that normalize and then this 6-year projection. So again, starting to become more and more of a healthy fund. All right, with that, that ends my presentation.
Thank you, Director Riley. So the purpose of this public hearing is to accept public comment. No action is anticipated, so there'll be no comment from the council tonight. With that, I am now opening the public hearing. Does any member of the public wish to comment on this item?
Hello, my name is Angie, from Bremerton. So my biggest question is, was this budget done before the government shut down? Because a lot of families out here, like myself, this is gonna impact us, with the increase, because I have to pay my utilities. My utilities are right now totally overdue. I pay it, so my kids and I have power, but at the same time, we're adding more utilities and we don't get services all the time through KCR. My biggest, I'm just gonna say the budget, I really think needs to be redone with the fact that the government shutdown is totally impacting all the families. Because now we have government telling us what we have to do in order to get benefits. And so families are not going to be able to afford all this. So that's where I'm at, because I pay my power, and everything that comes up with all this stuff. But it's still, I personally feel as a low income family member that this is going to hurt me more because my power bills are going to go higher. Because I have to pay water, sewer, garbage. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I do believe there was a question in there, and that was this budget done before the shutdown? Mr. Riley, would you like to answer that question?
Sure. Yeah. So the budget development starts obviously well before the shutdown took place. I think the focus seemed to be in the utility arena on the budget and costs. So we budget the increases based on the cost of service delivery of the utility and what it costs to operate the utility. And so the same thing there, the costs are associated. And they drive the rates to make sure we can cover with rates, cover those costs, operate. I'll say we have programs. We talked about those, I think, during the utility discussion. We have the low income discount. We have the senior discount. During the government shutdown, we did put holds on account. We still have members of the government that are on those holds. So I would encourage come into the utility, work with us. We're happy to work with you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Riley. Anyone else wish to comment?
I'm Nathan Axtell with Westside Baptist Church. I live here in Bremerton. Just thinking about the property tax increases. I saw that it was in the list of all these other increases, 3% for utilities, and then down there's 1% for property tax. And you said multiple times that We're capped at this 1% increase. I just want to advocate for a 0% property tax increase. As the utilities and everything, like you said, the cost of doing business goes up, right? That makes sense. I am sympathetic to that, but also with real estate, the prices are going up. So you're getting more tax income at the same rate. If the rate stays the same, then you're still getting more tax income as, property values go up and properties are bought at these higher prices and they're assessed at these higher prices. So it doesn't make sense to me why we'd need a higher percentage coming at the rate would have to be higher when the values are already being assessed at higher and higher values.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, Mike, that wasn't a question, but would you like to talk about that? Because that's kind of a public misconception, in my opinion. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So some of what I think you commented there, does have an impact. So when a house sells, that new value gets recalculated on the tax rolls and we're able to assess that new value. What doesn't happen is, your house might be assessed at a higher rate. The 1% cap that we assess is on that purchase price, the original value. We don't see that jump in the 1%. It's on just the tax base, and it reassesses the tax rate that goes out to the ratepayers. So our 1%, as you saw there, with that increase is $6 annually per the average household home, as not gets between $70,000 a year to $100,000 in total for what the city of Bremerton recognizes, and that is not keeping up with costs. So,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Riley. Good questions and comments from the public. Any more? Mr. Sorensen, would you check online, please?
nobody online.
All right. Seeing none, I now close the public hearing. As I mentioned, the council's not voting. So that concludes our public hearing for tonight. Next up, we have the mayor's report. Welcome, Mayor Wheeler.
All right. Good evening, Council President, City Council members. Got a couple slides to share with you. All right. We are close, and in fact, I believe we are at 100% completion for Quincy Square. So the interpretive signing is now installed. There's tribute to Quincy Jones and to the African American trailblazers who built the community in Kitsap County, and of course, our very important partners whose ancestral lands that we live and work on, the Squamish tribe. So again, more history to keep elevating the conversation of a part of our history that isn't often told but is extremely valuable. So as you can see, there's a couple of pictures here with this effort, and when we go down and enjoy the Christmas tree soon, we're going to be enjoying this also. Next slide. All right. We have all heard loud and clear, and it's been verified through the Parks and Recreation Open Space Plan from public input that we need a dog park in the city, another one. So this is something that Parks Department Director behind me, Tim Barker, and his team are leading, and with help from the Parks Commission. The survey, as you can see on the slide here, is available. We're looking for feedback on a proposed location in Stephenson's Canyon. So, all right, next slide. And the last slide, the input, we have an input deadline of December 2nd. If you go back real quick, Dave, Yep, December 2nd, the commission will review input on this. All right, next slide. So I just wanted to give you a project update, 3,100 feet of pipe. This was a partnership between the U.S. Navy, City of Bremerton, and which really an awesome project. At the bottom, you can see we had other partners with Puget Sound Energy and Comcast, and of course, Waste Management. So again, pipe was replaced and put back into service here just recently. We will finish up by restoring First Street and upgrading it. And it'll be a little bit more of a modern street when we're finished, but I'm proud of the work. the partnership between our city and the $7 million we were able to bring home from the federal government to help us with this project. And this was also 600,000 from our own city funds, our utility funds, to help design this project. And it was built for future growth, not only growth inside of the shipyard, but growth within our city. It was built with extra capacity in mind. Next slide, Dave. All right, this is that tree I was talking about. So, you know, that as we've mentioned, and as I have mentioned several times, we did not build Quincy Square to be a giant, beautiful plaza for birds to purchase, to perch and to, we built it for activity and action. And so with 116 events planned and counting for next year already, and moving our Winterfest onto the plaza, we are making great progress in a community square that's going to be enjoyed for decades to come. So this is exciting. The decorations will come next. I'm proud of our partners in the community, Bacon Tree Farm, DBA for being the event coordinator for the plaza, Quincy Square, and of course our own city staff, who you see out there. Again, going above and beyond. You think that was in a job description? So this is other duties as assigned, and they figure it out, and they always do, and I really appreciate them. So more fun to come. The tree lighting will be November 29th. There'll be some other activities downtown and performances. So we're looking forward to a fun holiday season. All right, Dave, and that should wrap up my report. All right. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Last item up tonight is our council member reports. This is an opportunity for council members to provide an update on any issues or events taking place in their district, announce any events they've recently attended or plan to attend, or speak on any other city-related topic. Since this is the last council meeting of the month, hard to believe it's November 19th already. We'll start my far right with Councilmember Mockler. Go ahead, please.
Thanks, Council President. First slide, please. Okay. So Common Streets, who works with us to connect homeless people with services, is going to be presenting and discussing at my December town hall. That's December 8th, 5 to 6:30 in the Public Works Conference Room. As always, thank you, Public Works. This is an opportunity for people not just to listen to a presentation, but to ask questions and to interact and yeah, that's it. I hope you can come. Next slide, please. That's the only slide. Okay. So on December 7th, from 3 until 5 p.m., at this exact same location, will be held the Green Mountain Summit. People say, why is it a summit? And I just named it that because it's about a mountain. It's a presentation by Joshua Wright of Forestry Defense on the health of the forest and things that we can do to protect and preserve the natural beauty of Green Mountain. Really short report tonight. I'm very happy to be able to tell all of you and all the ships at sea that on December 10th, the council will be discussing how to, I hope, reinstate public comment, public recognition at the city council meetings. And so it's a study session, so no, there's nothing interactive, but if you have an opinion on public recognition or really anything that council does, you can email city.council@bremertonwa.gov. And since Thanksgiving is later this month, I'm going to be thankful for Bremerton.
Okay, thank you. Can we show Councilmember Goodnow's slides? I'll go ahead and pinch hit for him. All right, so we can go on to the next, there should be another one after that. No, so I do get to see everybody's slides before 5:30, so I knew there was a couple there. All right, so Councilmember Goodnow wanted to recognize the founding board members of the Charleston Business District, and you can see their names there. Although it says established in 1903, this would be, well, I'm not even going to guess on that one why this is the founding board members, because that would make them pretty old, wouldn't it? But anyways, you can see you probably recognize a lot of those names, outstanding members of our community. So, do we have another one, Dave? Here's another one, Krampus versus Santa. This should be an interesting one. It sounds like a world wrestling type thing, but I'm not gonna promise that because then you'll be disappointed and you'll say, Council President, so it's a wrestling match? Go ahead.
100% a wrestling match. It
All
gets
right.
physical and bets are open.
Okay, so let's get ready to rumble. That'd be December 13th. Callow Avenue. Well, I guess President Trump is going to have a UFC thing event, so I guess we can have Krampus versus Santa Claus, can't we? All right. See more details at, that's the truth, right? All right. That's not a comment on either side of the avenue. I'm just saying. All right. The more details at krampusbremerton.com. All right. I like how I'm ad-libbing this as I see the slides as you do it. Okay. You're also invited to the Charleston, this would go better with a glass of beer. Charleston Business District Holiday Celebration, a joyful evening of food, friends, and community cheer. December 16th, 6 p.m. at 330 North Callow Avenue. Please bring a dish to share. And again, this has to do with the accomplishments of the Charleston Business District and their innovative and creative plans for 2026. Everybody's welcome, business members, friends, neighbors, everybody's welcome. I think that's the last slide. Am I right, Dave? One more. Boy, Councilmember Goodnow should not have missed this evening. So he's probably watching right now. I'll get an earful. So Callow Nights are every third Friday, 5 to 8 p.m. throughout the Charleston district. And there you can see the dates. You can mark your calendar. If you want more information, you can certainly contact Councilmember Goodnow. So there's going to be live music, history tours, food, drink, and shopping specials. That is an old picture because I'm seeing a whole bunch of old cars there. Right? What year are we going back to? 70s? So apparently that was Councilmember's Toyota Revelowski's Toyota Tercel in the picture or something like that. Have mercy on me. Was that the last slide? All right. Okay. Thank you. And thank you folks for letting me have a little fun with that. Now we'll turn to Councilmember Vice President Revelowski for her report.
Hi, I think I just have one slide there, dude. Okay, there are all kinds of ways that you can help families and just enjoy your community. We have Toys for Tots, New Day Ministry, Operation Santa Claus with United States Postal Service. I forgot about that. I remember getting my letter from Santa that's been around forever. New Beginnings Closet, Kitsap Community Resources, St. Vincent de Paul, Bremerton Food Line, and Salvation Army all have ways that you can help serve community members. And I hope everybody considers helping someone, because when you give of yourself, you're gaining a lot more than the person you're giving to. That's my theory. And then don't forget about Turkey Trot next Thursday. Registration for swag is over, but you can still show up, give them some money, and run, walk, trot, whatever you want to do. It's a great fundraiser for a wonderful organization in our city. And last year, I think they had over 1,000 people. So hope you join in. And that's it. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Coughlin.
All right, thank you, Council President. So we've just come through a long election season, and I want to begin by congratulating our two new council members elect who'll be joining this council, Christy Camarada and Rick Tift. I know your voices and perspectives will be valuable in the years ahead, and I want to extend my congratulations to Mayor Wheeler on winning a third term. As many of you know, in my council reports, I put the difficult topics up front, and tonight is going to be one of those nights as well for the whole report. I want to relay my experience on this council the last 4 years with some specific examples and what I believe has led to some current dysfunction in the city. And I do so with the genuine interest that it helps the city move forward. And I look forward to spending December focused on more uplifting topics. So my 4 years in this council have been among the most meaningful work I feel like I've ever done. When I was elected, I came in bright-eyed, determined to help my neighborhood, my district, and the city as a whole. From the start, I worked hard to build healthy and constructive relationships, reaching out to my colleagues here, directors, and the mayor, hoping to establish a collaborative foundation. With Mayor Wheeler, I was the one who initiated our first two and to date only direct one-on-one meetings and offered to have regular tag-ups, offers that were never taken up. In that first year while serving on Public Works Committee, I discovered a contract passed by the previous council was not being followed. When I brought my concerns to the mayor, I was told, well, Jeff, you're going to do what you're going to do. And that response has stayed with me. Later that year, after the city had gone over 2 years without a constitutional noise ordinance, the council unanimously passed what staff proposed with one small change, an extra hour of weekend live music. That 7-0 vote was vetoed. And in my opinion, it sent a chilling message to this body, which had to override the veto simply to provide the city with a working ordinance. I'll also never forget a new council member asking sincerely for guidance on a regional board where they served alongside the mayor, only to be told by the mayor that it wasn't his job to teach them how to be an effective council member. Having served on those boards myself, I can say there has not been a concerted effort to build a joint strategy for Bremerton. In 2023, when I became council president, I led the joint planning session using a system that worked well in my previous professional career. I briefed everyone and solicited input ahead of time, but at the retreat, the mayor refused to meaningfully participate and later asked to have his name removed from the list of joint goals. And each year, just days before the retreat, the mayor releases a separate unilateral list of goals, which I believe undermines the purpose of a joint planning session. In 2023, the council permanently established the Race Equity Commission, intentionally before hiring a DEI manager because the community told us it mattered to have the commission first. More than 2.5 years later, not a single member has been appointed, and there is no timeline and no commitment to do so, leaving the legislation unimplemented. Other ordinances like complete streets also remain unimplemented. On some of the most difficult issues, like updating our camping ordinance after a court decision, the council was left to go it alone. The mayor declined offers to meet with me as council president. And after months of public input and work, the mayor didn't even sign the ordinance. Also, as council president, I had to work directly with our police and fire chiefs to get a public safety levy on the ballot, and the mayor only expressed support when directly asked. Regarding citizen commissions, I've seen commissioners who reported issues to the council and mayor be removed or not reappointed, and as a result, several commissioners have told me they now feel hesitant to speak up. We've also experienced yelling during meetings when council members simply asked hard questions about delayed projects. Too often, I feel like we've learned about major developments from the newspaper rather than from the mayor. Even after a third-party facilitator attempted to help us rebuild trust, the pattern continued. I've had to continually remind outside organizations to contact council directly rather than assume the mayor's office will forward information on. And I want to say something personal because it matters for context here. I did not run for another council term because I could not, emotionally, professionally, or ethically, endure another 4 years of this working environment. I love serving the city, but the working environment that has developed under this mayor has made it impossible to continue doing this work in a healthy way. It was a contributing factor in my decision to run for county commissioner last year, and certainly a major factor in my run for mayor this year. And during this year's campaign, I certainly ran against the mayor, but the mayor did not simply run against me, he ran against this entire council. The message was clear. Everything good in the city was credited solely to him, and everything bad was blamed on this body. And that has consequences and is going to further fuel division. And this divisiveness is not just hard on elected officials. It harms city residents, and most of all, it harms our city staff. City staff are the ones caught in the middle. They present the work and take the hard questions, not the mayor. They navigate political tension they did not create. Past directors have been removed after I feel they spoke candidly to council, and I know there are current staff that fear the same could happen to them. That makes it difficult for the council to trust what we hear from staff is fully transparent. I think that's unfair to staff and the public. I want to trust we're getting the full picture. but we often cannot tell whether staff are able to speak freely. So to sum up, here's my call to action to Mayor Wheeler, who I know is not in the room anymore. But I sincerely hope that when you watch this, as you begin your third term, please work on repairing the relationship with this council and make that your top priority. Whether it's through regular tag-ups or third-party mediation, there must be a reset in how the city's leadership functions. After 4 years of working with peers across the county and state and other cities, I can tell folks in this room, other cities do not operate with this level of dysfunction. It doesn't have to be this way. It's also why, once I'm off council in January, I will continue advocating for Bremerton to explore a charter amendment to switch to a city manager form of government, a structure used by many cities across Washington to reduce political conflict and provide consistent professional administration. Until then, I remain committed for these last 6 weeks of my term to the same values I came in with: transparency, collaboration, and doing what's best for Bremerton. Thank you, Council President.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Fry.
No news is good news from District 2 this week. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Chamberlain.
Okay. I have a couple slides, but can we just take them down for a hot minute? I keep hearing about this $10,000 for the bathroom. Y'all, it costs a lot more than $10,000 for a bathroom. Ask Marwan Cameron where the porta potty is that the group who fundraised independently for that, and he got reimbursed for it. Ask him where that porta potty is right now. Ask him how damaged it is. Ask him if it can be used again. Also, if you want to explore the porta potties and misuse, you could ask our parks director. Sorry to call you out, but we had one who was consistently abused over by the Warren Avenue playfield that had to be removed. And we're talking clothes, we're talking like, and there's a special person that was coming to clean it, extra couple $100 a week. They got so bad they couldn't clean it anymore. So we need to be thinking beyond a porta potty. We need to be thinking about something bigger, something better, something more humane than a porta potty dropped in the middle of our city. And so I had a chance to, and we can look at my slides. I'll just have a couple. So the first one is a picture. Is that one the first one up? There's a picture of me. I got to take the same tour that Councilor Mockler got to take with Tricia from Common Streets. We had, okay. I had a chance to go to Fife, and they have a population of about 1 million. We have about in Kitsap County about 250,000. And so it was really interesting to do some comparisons of services offered in Fife compared to Kitsap County as a whole. For instance, we have one coordinated entry facilitator, Kitsap Community Resources. Fife has 38. Why do they have so many more housing resource coordinated entry facilitators than we do? Why is Kitsap Community Resources the only one that we have? But something that was really great about Fife that I got to tour with Common Streets was the amount of day centers that they had. They had several different day centers that people could go into. They could get resources, but they could also like heat up some ramen, come in from the cold, hang out and talk to a caseworker. We need a day center. That's my call to action, council. So a day center. Let's see if we can get that rolling in 2026. And so this is one of the facilities that Tricia took us to, was New Hope. It's on one of the Catholic church grounds, and they had a shower facility, 3 showers that people could come. They could take showers. They can come and get different kinds of resources like diapers, clothes, things like that. And everybody that runs it was a previous client. And so it's just a beautiful kind of circle of service. And I really appreciated seeing the resources, including safe parking lots that were run in an efficient way. There was a really great pallet shelter that was run by the city of Fife. I got to see a lot of examples just in that one area of innovative and creative solutions to the housing crisis. All right. Thank you. And the last one, well, I do not think the mayor was comprehensive enough in soliciting feedback for a proposed dog park. And people are asking me on social media what I think about it, but I don't really do council business on social media. But I'm just going to say publicly now, I'm in favor of it, as long as there's some sort of, here, take my feedback. Okay, Director? As long as there's signage that people need to put their leashes back on their pups when they go into Stephenson Canyon. I'm excited for this. So can we roll the video, please?
Hi everyone, I'm Tim Barker, Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Bremerton. Today we're here at Stephenson Canyon, evaluating this open space area for an off-leash dog park. A centralized dog park was identified as a high priority in our recent update to our Park, Recreation, and Open Space Plan, which is scheduled for adoption by City Council this next month. We'd love to hear what you think. Please take a short survey and share your thoughts about developing an off-leash area here. The results will be reviewed at our December 2nd Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Thanks for taking a few minutes to share your input. We really appreciate it.
I like how at the end he's just trying to fill time. December 2nd. Put your input in if you want to see a dog park. I really appreciate the idea of this because it takes previously kind of a blighted area that had a lot of construction materials, some just some garbage, and it was removed and cleaned, and just creating something resourceful for our community. That is all for my council report. Have a safe and healthy and happy Thanksgiving season. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You can put that slide down, Dave. That picture don't look like me at all. That anyway, that is crazy. Well, missing something up here. Some people would say it's more than here I'm missing. Okay. Mr. Barker, University of Oregon, really? I guess it's Pacific Northwest, but University of Washington or WSU, go Cougs. All right. Folks, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving next week. There'll be no study session next week due to the Thanksgiving holiday, and the next council meeting will be on Wednesday, December 3rd, starting at 5:30 p.m. in the first floor chambers of the Norm Dix Government Center. Public is welcome to attend the meeting in person or remotely via Zoom. Good night, folks.